I remember the beginning. I came from Denmark, and I was sleeping very good in Denmark, and I didn't think too much about why I was sleeping that good. But I was aware that sleep was very important for me. But I didn't know why and how to make it better if I didn't was sleeping that good. But when I came to Brentford, I was a bit like I'm gonna sleep well here as well. It's gonna be the same. But actually, when I came, it was a little difference because I was not in a safe environment, a new culture, new country, a lot of new things happening. So my mind was wandering more, and I think that was the key part that I found out why I with Anna. She told me that it's a new place, so of course it's not gonna be like the same like in Denmark. The training is different, and then I also got an injury where I was out for 3 months first, and then I got back, played 3 games, got injured again 3 months. So it was quite frustrating times where I was very irritated and frustrated, and was thinking about my future and my situation in the club, and that I didn't know that it affected my sleep, but as we talked, and the more and more we got a relationship, I got more knowledge, and that helped me a lot. I think knowing what to do when I was laying on the bed and couldn't sleep, or waking up and couldn't. My mind was wandering. I was thinking about my training, or now I'm gonna be tired for tomorrow because I can't sleep, and it will also affect my injury. I can't heal probably if I can't sleep, but I got some tools, also seeing on the Whoop that I actually didn't have that many hours I thought, and also of deep sleep, and I got some tools to if I couldn't fall asleep, to go up, not staying in the bed if I didn't fall asleep after half an hour. Then I was standing up, going into the living room. I was drawing my tattoos that I have now, actually, and also just writing some things down, and then going back to sleep. And then I felt more tired after that. Also not using my mobile phone. That's something I do now. Start to read in the night instead, and have my times to go in bed. I did that before as well, but I have been more aware of have that consistency in especially in my days off. Try to keep my sleep times and waking up early as well on my days off. I like to sleep, so sometimes it's hard not to just to sleep the whole day when I have a day off, or to wake up at 12 or something. But I know it will affect me on the next day when I have to fall asleep that night. So I think the knowledge have helped me a lot, because it was not because I was not sleeping well when I came. It was just different from Denmark, and I didn't have that knowledge when I came, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I did a piece with Anna before, she said being a footballer is a bit like being a shift worker, because if you have quite a lot of evening games, you're going to bed very late. So is that a problem, because it's going to affect the time you go to bed and things?
Yeah, and that's something I have more or less accepted. You're gonna have adrenaline after a game, and been thinking about the games. I try to, if we play away on an evening, I try to watch the game after in the bus, so I have almost like seen all my actions, so I can close the game, so I don't think too much about could have done this and changed the situation. I think that have always been a problem for me to sleep after the game. So I think that's for every footballer. It's very difficult to when you still have the adrenaline and all the caffeine drinks you have taken, energy drinks, when we play with 3 days in between games, then it's very important, and I think that it have helped me to close the game as quick as possible after the game and to watch it, and also to have the knowledge about accepting then I'm not gonna fall asleep straight away, but it's okay, and it's gonna be like that. And then I think it helped my body as well, using breathing techniques, and then of course I have my bedroom is totally black out now. When I came here I had blinds that was not that good, so all these kind of things have helped a lot. Sometimes I sleep with like night glasses if there's light in the room.
What are those night glasses like? Are they special goggles?
What are they called? These mask, eye mask.
The blind out mask and eye mask.
Like you wear on an airplane.
On airplanes.
Yeah.
But I think what you're describing, Emiliano, is a quite good example of you having had developed a toolbox over time. So both with like actual physical actions, but also from a mental side, a toolbox with tools towards things like acceptance, because there's no, like, to be fair and hand on heart, 90% of all the football players that I work with, they will have difficulties falling asleep after a game. And there's a million reasons to why that would be the case. And a lot of it is exactly what you described. The high adrenaline level, you've had the high light exposure and everything. Where it's often very difficult is if the player doesn't accept that this night is just not going to be optimal, and you know sleep is important, you go to bed, you're super frustrated because you know that it's important that you get the sleep. When I work with Emiliano or any other player for that matter, it's not that one night after the game that's going to be the deal breaker. And it's super important to create some acceptance around that, because the deal breaker is not that night, it's all the other nights where you actually have a good option to use some of the tools that you develop over time to create good sleep. Because you shouldn't expect after a late night game that your sleep level will be super high. And if that is your expectation, you'll just add further frustration, stress, and so forth, kind of pushing the sleep even further back. So I think, again, going back to kind of mythology, and so Emiliano describes it quite well, it's not about having this super fixed mindset about what to do always, but it's about having a toolbox which you can use in various situations. So you're describing the fact of you having had an injury period and a quite high frustration level as well. But then figuring out that if I use my head on other stuff, you were super good at kind of creating a mind shift, figuring out that drawing was actually what kept you going. You liked to draw the tattoos and so forth, and that could kind of not support you, but in a way support you to get the stress level down and also create some acceptance. And ultimately that led to you then being able to fall asleep better. But it's not for everyone to draw tattoos, right? So that's where the application and the tools that you're using needs to be quite adapted to who you're actually working with. And again,
I think it's finding something that's also interesting for you outside football. And in my life, football has been everything, and I think about football all the time. But I still managed to find something else. I bought a land in Denmark, so I had to write the house as well. Draw the lines of the house and the square meters, and that made my mindset to think about something else than the football. And then that helped me to get away from my frustration and to calm more down.
Do you remember, Emiliano, and maybe just like tell me to shut up if you don't want to share, but do you remember that we actually did some measurements in the period of time where you tested different things and we could actually see how it affected? So when you decided purposely to do something that you decided on doing because it had an interest on you, we could see a positive effect on the data. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be strapped up on a device for the rest of your life to see your data, but it means that you find some strategies that you can apply. Let's say you have a period of time again where you find it hard to fall asleep. Then we have some proof that it actually affected you positively, but you also felt the positive effect, so that the next time you know, okay, last time I was drawing, so that actually helped me. And quite often it has to be exactly like you say, it has a very, very strong influence quite often when we create something which is non-football related, because it also creates a quite vulnerable situation if everything that you do is football related and you're an injured player. And you're a very good example of someone who added in external factors to create something different in your life in the period of time where football was actually not super balanced, if that makes sense.
Yeah.